Namato Ratanatayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zim, the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening. So today is Thursday, 11th June 2020. I'm here with you as usual to be with you. Hi Shannon, hi Margaret, hi Colin, hi Suresh, and hi everyone. Everyone, I hope that you are having a good time. So today at the center also relatively good weather, no rain, but the wind is still very cold. But still sunshine, never the same. The weather is always changing as our mood changes and as our experience changes too. So our experiences and our moods are transient. It's always changing, and it's up to us how do we adapt and how do we survive in these difficult times. Same with this COVID-19. We also need to learn how to adapt in a different form and different ways in this new era, new life. Hi Praveen, Kalam, good evening. Hi, good evening. So thank you for listening. This is Achan Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. So I'm trying to have this every evenings, giving you some philosophical and Buddhist doctrines and as well as current affairs. And every night I also try to upload on a Facebook, so you can go and listen at the Varapunya Meditation Center Facebook. So all the talks that I have given on here on the Facebook, it's been uploaded, almost all, apart from some talks and some meditation guidance due to the internet problems. So if you cannot find the talks on Facebook, then you can go to listen from YouTube in our channel. So you can even subscribe for the YouTube channel, so you will be updated every day, almost every day that I have uploaded on the talks and the meditation guidance. So today again, as usual, I am going to reply one of the questions that I was asked, and this question is really tough and as well as very important question, and I believe that the questionnaire he probably have read so-called the Kalama Sutta. In that sutta says that don't believe, and the question was, the Buddha said that don't believe, then why should we have to have belief? So that is the question. Namo Buddhaya, Sukhyos. So Buddha said don't believe, then why do we have to have a belief to begin with? Okay, so and this basically came from the teachings, one of the discourses called the Kalama Sutta or Kesaputiya Sutta. It's from Anguttara Nikaya, numerical discourses. And in that discourse, basically Buddha was traveling to one of the villages, so-called Kalama, Kesaputiya. Kalamas, the villagers were known as the Kalamas. And they are basically, it seems like people will pass that villages travelers, and they have met so many other so-called believers and so-called the faith or religious leaders. And their complaint was that every religion says, or every religious leaders who pass this village says that my views are right and the rest of others are not. So whoever comes, they discard the rest of other views, but they will only ask us to believe what he has to say. So that's how people were confused in that village. So by the time when the Buddha was traveling and passed by that village, people had known Buddha's name and fame, and so having known that Buddha is traveling through this village, so Kalamas, the people from that village, wanted to have this friendly conversation and wanted to know whether Buddha's view also will be the same as the previous religious leaders. So the Kalamas went to visit to the Buddha, and they expressed their thoughts and their experiences to the Buddha, that Venerable Gautama, that previously we have met so many religious leaders, and each one of them, when they pass this village, they normally discard other faiths or other views, but they will praise their own, and that's how it's been. So we confused. And so Buddha, rather than discarding their views, Buddha simply accepted their doubts, saying that it is so, Kalamas, it is so. It's good that you have a doubt. It's good that you have a question on someone's teachings. And this is what we have to develop. Yeah? So that's why the Buddha gave another 10 questions not to believe. Say, do not believe because it is written in scripture. Do not believe that it is said by my teacher. Do not believe that it is because of the tradition, or do not believe that it is reasonable, and so and so. There are 10 questions not to believe in. But the translation here, do not believe. Actually, the translation is misleading. This translation should be, do not merely believe. Yeah? So, do not merely believe. That means investigate whatever you have read, whatever you have heard, whatever people have said. Investigate on that and then find out the truth before you believing in. And that's the teachings of the Buddha. Okay, that is the teachings of the Buddha. So, and after you have, the Buddha went on saying that after you have investigated properly and known that this is beneficial for you and to the rest of the other people, so-called beneficial for yourself, beneficial for others, and beneficial for the both, and only then take it as the truth. Once you have investigated skillfully and found the truth, and take it as belief, so-called saddha. So remember here, okay? Remember here, after you have properly investigated and found that that is the truth, only then take it as the truth, and that becomes the saddha, or the faith, or the belief. And here again, the beauty here, if that is only benefit for yourself, then it's still not good enough. And it's still, if it's only benefit for you and others, still not enough. It needs to be beneficial for both parties and the community, and only then that is taken as the beneficial one. Okay? So that's how strong faith develops. And there is a very beautiful story as well, that why this faith is important. It doesn't matter what we do. Every job that we do, we have to have a faith in, and only then we will succeed in the job that we are doing. And that's how there is one story. It's Alavaka, Alavaka, the carnival Alavaka. The story was that Alavaka was the carnival, and he was kind of eating people in that village. And it's again understandable those days, 2,600 years ago. Obviously, there are tribes that they will eat humans, and even in Africa or in present day, there some people say that this still exists. Okay, and even I remember, when I was a young boy. We were taught, or we were told that there will be a people catching the babies and eaten like that. So the story was that the carnival, this Alavaka, the leader, and then Buddha had to visit this village and save the villagers by teaching this Alavaka. So rather than members of the villages going to the Alavaka's residence, Buddha went. And as he went, rather than sitting any other places, he went straight away and sat on the leader's seat. It's called a leader throne, the stone throne. And when he was sitting there, and that moment, that was in the afternoon, Alavaka was just had a lunch and just went out for having a sunbathe. At that exact moment, Buddha went into his residence and sat on this throne. And this Alavaka's servant comes into the residence to clean up after lunch, and they're cleaning up. And having seen this monk calmly meditating on his master's seat, he was frightened to death. So he ran to the Alavaka, who was having the sunbathe, and saying, Master, someone is sitting in your seat. And out of this anger, he was furious, and he went down to his residence and found this monk sitting in his seat. And out of this anger, he said, "Get out." So he said to the Buddha, "Get out." So he simply stood, the Buddha stood from the seat and walked out from this residence. And as soon as he walked outside of a gate, this leader said, "Come in." And then, without saying a word, Buddha simply turned himself and come in to his room. As he just come into the room and said, "Stop, get out." So, when the Buddha just turned and about to get out, Alavaka smiled out of fun. So he was playing with the Buddha. So he went again. The Buddha again went out. So as soon as Buddha went out and he said, "Stop, come in," and Buddha said nothing, and he just came in. And then the third time, again, the Alavaka, the Yaksha, or the carnival leader, told the Buddha, "Get out." And the Buddha said, "No, I'm not going out, I'm tired." And then this leader said, "Okay, if you're not going out, I will ask a question. If you can answer, I will let you go. If you can't, then you will be my lunch for the next time." And the Buddha said, well, there is none who would defeat the Buddha, whether humans or the celestial beings. However, let's ask. So then Alavaka asked, as he was instructed by his predecessors, saying, what is the most important wealth? What is the greatest test? So I will not go all, I'll just go on to the faith one here. What is the most important wealth? Now you can try as well. So then the Buddha replied, the most important wealth in our life is faith, saddha. And the most important test is the test of Dhamma. Okay. So the most important wealth that we have to have in ourselves is the faith, the saddha. And when we have got this confidence, this courage, this faith, this belief, nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop us. We will do it. So that's why there is a saying that make sure that you have believe in what you are going to do. When you believe in what you are going to do, and definitely it takes to the success. But here, the faith, although it's the greatest wealth in our lives, but one we have to check again that whether that is taking to the wrong or the bad, or whether the action that you are having a faith in it to carry, and which is you're going to carry out, causes a harm or causes the benefit. So if that is causing harm, no, that faith is not the right faith. That's called miccha, it's called the wrong faith. And we have to get rid of this wrong faith. And we shouldn't be having it. But we are developing this right faith. And once we have got the faith in it, then nothing can stop us. So we have to have a faith within ourselves that things or whatever we are going to do we have a faith in it. And the question arises, what to have faith in? I have written here a few things. It says that according to the Abhidharma, Abhidharma Pitaka, one of the third selections of the books, it's called Abhidhamma. And here it says that saddha is one of the mental factors that develops in us. And that one of the mental factors has got the characteristics of it. It has got the action, and it has got the results and immediate cause. Okay, so the characteristics of this mental factor, or so-called saddha, or the faith, or the belief, is that it's called believing in the wholesome actions or good actions. So believing in good is the characteristics of this saddha, or this faith. And about the action, that after we have a faith in it, believing in what is good, and we are having this faith on that, having a faith in what we believe in is known as the action or the act. And then what's called having a strong faith in is a result, or so-called devoid of unfaithful, devoid of non-faith or non-belief is known as a result. And the immediate cause is an object. Immediate cause of believing in is an object. And now here, objects can be a word, and objects can be our aim, or objects can be an object. And that's how you can see in a religion we have so many religious objects that we believe in. That as soon as it is offered, or as soon as it is designated, or as soon as it's been established, that objects become object of faith. Even the flower, even the incense, even the altar, even the brass, plastic Buddha or plastic objects. Once it's been established as a religious object, then we will have that faith in. That's why it is known as object of believing in. And here again, objects. It says that how do we develop this faith? How do we develop this faith? Number one, when our eyes sees an object, object is beautiful, object is so nice, and that's how we believe in. And then we also have a faith. We develop our faith on someone, somebody, something, simpler because they're having this rightly established and having these rules and regulations, so-called Dhamma Vinaya. One who is practicing in accordance with the Dhamma and Vinaya are well respected. And then also faith can develop by the words, this encouraging words, the word of praise. And then the last one is, after we have heard the teachings and we realize that the value of that teachings, then faith begins. And that's how all the faiths and religions are developed, on the basis of the teachings. And now, on the basis of these categories, in Buddhism, the faith is classified as the greatest wealth, simply because whatever we do, it does matter to us and it does matter to others. Okay? And whatever we do, it has a results. And then we become owners of that results, or owner of that actions. But having said that, doesn't mean that we cannot overcome and we cannot be awakened. Yes, we can. So that's why in Buddhism, the belief or the faith is divided divided into four categories, four types, not divided, four types of the faiths or belief. So one is Kamma Sattha, which means believing in our action, and which I think it's very easy to understand. Whatever we do, we know that what are we going to do. We believe in, like when we are hungry, we know that once we have eaten, we are full, like that. Whenever we feel stressed, again we do the chanting, or we pay respect to the Buddha, or even a talk. Those who are believing in a theistic religion, they will talk to the God, deities, and then that's how they feel comfortable. So that's believing in action. And a second belief, or the saddha, is called vipaka saddha, which means believing in the results. And obviously, once we believe in our action, then the results, obviously, we have to believe in. Whatever we do, it has a results. That's why early on I said, whatever we do, it has the effect, and it does matter to us and then to others. And it is not that whatever we have done and then the results will not come back to us. So that's why the third one is called, we are the responsible of our own action. So believing in that my action and my results, I am a responsible one. Yeah. So that's the third one. And again, obviously, we can understand that one. Whatever we do, we know exactly the result, what we're going to be. But the problem here, and normally I feel that most of the people, those who come for meditation, they want to have instant results. And that's not the case. It won't happen like that. We didn't grow one day up to this level. We didn't learn the languages in one day, 1 hour of a practice. It took so many days and years. I can speak fluently now in English. It took me almost 20 years to develop like this, that I don't have to think in my own language now. I can think in English and talk in English. So it takes that many years. But again, the result, whatever I have invested to study language, and as I developed, the result was gradually I was able to communicate, I was able to read, I am able to write, and gradually I am become fluent. But having said that, again, still I am not perfect. I am not perfect in English language. Yeah. So, but that doesn't mean I can't be perfect. Yeah, it doesn't mean I can't be perfect. So that's why it takes time. Do not expect the immediate return of your action. And do not think that any bad action that you have done will go under the carpet. It will come back. And we will be the responsible for that. So that's why we are responsible for it. The same with the good things as well. Whenever we do good things, during this time, the result may not be coming at that very moment, immediate after we have done, but the result is there. It's like investing in a stock market. You invest and you wait for a couple of days or a month or a year, and then you will get the interest on that. So there is a possibility of awakening, and this is the last one is called Tathagata Bodhisattva. Means that we have generated the faith that we can be liberated, and we have seen the example. The Tathagata means the Buddha had enlightened by his own action, by his own efforts over the eons of life after life. He had done so much work perfecting his perfections, and finally he was able to be enlightened. And so we can be enlightened as him. We are very fortunate that we don't have to investigate and try to find out what are the paths. Buddha had already given us this path, and all what we need is to develop this faith in the teachings and continue practicing, because we already have a path, and that's how we will be liberating. So in Buddhism, that's why, although Buddha said don't believe in, but that doesn't mean don't believe in. But once you have investigated properly, and then you develop your confidence on that theme, and then after you have developed this, and the confidence in the action that you have been doing, then that becomes the belief. So the Buddha's path is the belief that is not depend on any external powers, but depends on your understanding, the wisdom. So that's why in Buddhism, faith and wisdom goes hand in hand. Okay, the very moment when you have generated this faith with your wisdom, understanding the cause and effects, and that's how you understand that there's a possibility of enlightenment, and that's how is the pure saddha, the true faith develops, and that's how it takes us to the liberation. Okay, so I hope I have covered this Buddhist concept of the belief or the faith, and from my knowledge. So I hope you understand on that. So I offer this as tonight's talk, and thank you everyone for listening from far and wide. Oh, thank you, Margaret. Thank you very much. Colin, sometimes I do talk in English when I'm dreaming. All right. Okay, so in a few minutes time we will have a chanting and guided meditation. So I would like to invite you for the chanting and the guided meditation, and if you are not joining for it, at least come for the meditation, or even not, then see you tomorrow at 6:30. Okay, so thank you everyone. We'll see you shortly. Thank you.